Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barashem Yahushai, Barashem Makakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles who brought me stone to the Akim Akrath, try the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and in truth and diligence of mind to the gospel of Lord Amashak Yahushai in these days and times. This brother Menashe of the DC camp, short lesson for the hopeful elect. So we got some trend going on. You're already aware of it about all this AI drama that they keep on pushing on the mainstream news media. And a lot of folks are just getting swept up in the hysteria. So, AI is just a man made agenda, to automate processes, to fit the goal that is scheduled for delivery, a goal they have in mind, just like a target, okay? So, the so-called white man is leaning towards that path. He wants things to be automated because he has seen that he doesn't have a firm grip on the lives of the people. So he has to malign them and push them aside and let AI do the rest. So now they have to go, let me say, to the outer limits of their desires to convince people that AI is going to be this wonderful development that they can always depend on. But for those that have lived through all these mishaps and glitches with devices and whatever you've been exposed to, you could tell that it's a false narrative they're trying to push. Okay, it's basically predictive programming. That's what AI is all about. Predictive programming. All right, so that's another topic for another day. So when you're dealing with crypto, all these finances, you gotta write the code, to track transactions here and there, and then how that transaction is being used. In other words, the who, what, when, where, how, and why, and all that stuff. And then you could add some extra drama to it. So that's basically what they're gonna be doing with the AI uh, algorithms, because you can write a code, and then it's just gonna do whatever you want it to do. You could use it to manipulate people's speeches. you know, Even use me people, be using AI in music for a long time. With the so-called voice synthesizer and all that stuff. Your so-called electric keyboard. So it's just another thing, to be aware of. So the so-called white man wants, his system to go digital, cashless, economy, so he could have better control on people. And then he has to have all these firms like Coinbase, to go along with that agenda. So the CEO of Coinbase had to fire some of his engineers, software engineers, or whatever you want to call it, programmers, because of them not going along quick enough with using all these AI tools in their activities, in their job assignments, their projects and all that stuff. So, hey, he had to fire them, how to fire people, So that's how serious Esau is about pushing his AI agenda. So enough of the storyline and all that stuff, but it's very important you have an idea of what you're going to be experiencing. So First Corinthians chapter 3 verse 19 says, "For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with Yahweh Shemel Shai Bashim Kakadash. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. All right. So those that think that AI is going to resolve all the problems they have in their lives, it's going to take off a huge workload, and their life will be so glitch free. They're going to be up for a rude awakening. And remember that, man, when these devices malfunction, you need to have a technician to go and see exactly what's happening, you know. And then whether you're going to have somebody fix it remotely, or you have to send somebody there physically to take a look at what's going on. So, it's just like, you have that saying in the world, a solution that creates more problems. Solution in search of extra unnecessary drama. All right, it just creates more problems and more problems and more problems. All right, so that's exactly what a lot of people are going to be dealing with. So a lot of people will be caught up in it. They're going to be disoriented because they're going to see all the faults and all the bugs, constant updates, like software updates, like your operating system on your cell phone, on your computer, patch. And that's not a form of generating income. For these companies, man, you got to pay for all these upgrades. So that's not a headache a lot of people are gonna have to be dealing with. So the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, you're gonna read verses 6 and 7. It says, Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. Okay, so a lot of our people, man, they're so enthusiastic about joining all these big corporations as software engineers and quality assurance managers, software testers, and then they get paid all that six figures, but at what cost down the line? Making six figures on a yearly basis. Talking about cloud engineer, this, talking about software engineer. But at the end of the day, what is the end? What's the end? Are they going to be able to withstand the storm of the fallout that's coming? That's one thing that a lot of people are not ready to discuss. All right, all they show you is just the fluff, the so-called attractive part, the propaganda part of it, the what you call it, the advertising part, trying to make everything look attractive. So when the reality sets in, when there is no proper solution to come to their aid, they're stuck with it. That's the whole issue. When the power grid goes off, there's nothing these folks can do. They'll be stuck. They can't go and do the things they need to do. So they'll have to resort to the old way of doing things. It's doing their laundry by hand, all right? Uh, Cooking their food again, the regular way. Yeah, because when you talk about the Internet of Things, they're gonna try to put AI in that mix, to monitor all these devices, what you call appliances. You could use your cell phone to monitor what's going on at home on the cameras to see exactly what's going on with your refrigeration unit, your dishwasher, your thermostat, and all that stuff. It can be controlled from the cell phone. So what if you don't get a cell phone signal? What are you gonna do? You know, you have power supply, but your cell phone signal is not coming through. So it's just what you call a chaos, in wait. So you just got to understand, man. When you had that so-called earthquake in the DMV, folks couldn't even send a single proper text message to get there on time. So the whole system got jammed up. So it's just things to think about. All right. Now, verse 7 says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, said he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." So that's the whole agenda, of AI, man. It's just to usher people in, from how you say it, the Judas goat methodology, man. The Judas goat. That's basically what it is, man. You have to make the agenda so attractive and appealing to the people that they just abandon their reasoning and just go with the flow. All right, hook, line, and sinker. So that's exactly what we've been seeing so far. And a lot of people are getting paid to promote these ideas. All these influencers you see on social media, they're always there promoting this gadget, promoting this, that, promoting that. So it's just what you're gonna have to deal with. Okay, and yeah, you have to be aware of the slippery slope towards that dystopian nightmare that a lot of people have been talking about, but they've been branded as cuckoos and conspiracy theorists. So it's just part of the journey. As a man of the Lord, you understand what you are dealing with. Okay, you're not ignorant in a small matter like this, even though it's a bigger matter. You're not even ignorant about it. Okay, so you just have to stay circumspect, man, because even in all these elementary schools, they also including all this agenda for AI too. So you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful how you how you raise your household. All right, you gotta be involved. With your children's education. You gotta see exactly what they're being taught in school and all that stuff. So now another precept will be from the book of Sirach. Sirach chapter 4, and then read verse 30. It says, "Be not as a lion in thine house, nor frantic among thy servants." So, yeah, that's the brutal reality we're going to be seeing very soon with all these so-called CEOs, man. They're going to be giving their employees the ultimatum to fall in line with the program, fall in line with the agenda to to get that step towards the image of the beast, man. That's just what it is, man. They have to intimidate, and I would say coerce people to go along with any agenda, any and every agenda to strengthen, to solidify the image of the beast. You have that image has to be cemented in the people's minds. So every opportunity that they have to do so, they will push it. They'll use their positions as a bullying pulpit to force the employees to comply. All right, and that's just the game that all these CEOs like to indulge in, man, because they realize they're in the power seat, so they might as well use it to further the agenda of the elite. So, yep, that's just one thing you have to look forward to, man. You know, and yeah, keep an eye out for HR too, man, because they like to send out those sneaky emails, opening those little cracks for the agendas of the elite, to to grab a hold on people's minds, man. You saw exactly what happened during the C19, drama. So They're going to be pushing that agenda hard very soon. So just be aware of that. So we get to another precept. It's also going to be from the book of Sirach, chapter 13. Look at 22. It says, when a rich man is fallen, he hath many helpers. He speaketh things not to be spoken, and yet men justify him. So the agenda of the elite, man, is always to go along and go along and go along, no matter what the cost. You know, they have to protect their image. Okay, they have to protect their agenda. That's the reason why they brand people as disinformation sources. You know, that's why you have censorship. All right, they block people's posts. You know, they interfere with people's bandwidths. You know, they slow your system down and all that stuff. You know, you get debanked, you get blocked from platforms and all that stuff. So everything you work hard for, you can't really get the benefit of it. So it's just part of the things you have to deal with. You know, the gatekeeping agenda of the elites to secure their influence is no joke. So they will do whatever they can to keep it that way. They want to fight for more influence because they know when you have more people that have a platform to share the message, that's reducing their own influence too. You know, especially when you have opposing influences that put people in the right frame of mind. Okay, that gives them that opportunity to value their freedom over temporary accommodations. All right, so that's what the elites want, man. They're always trying to always coming to the aid of each other because they know it's a small circle and they have to protect that circle no matter what the cost is. So that's the reason why they like to sweep so many scandals under the rug. And then when you have the so-called poor man, the so-called man at the bottom, they just throw him out there, you know, throw him out there to the wolves to feast on him. The poor man slipped, and yet they rebuked him too. He spake wisely and could have no place. All right, so they don't want nobody, you know, cleaning up the mess they've made to get the people on the right track. They want the elites want the people to be eternally subservient, man. You know, the forever slave mindset. They want the people to be in a sunken place. So if it's to convince them that AI is going to make their lives better, they will do it. They push it on the news because they control all the media. You know, all the media institutions, they control that. So they will do whatever they can, whether that's online or printed paper. They do whatever they can. So be aware of that. So it's a power struggle. You know, it's a power struggle between the wisdom of righteousness and the wisdom of this world. Now, verse 3 says, when a rich man speaketh, every man holdeth his tongue, and look what he saith. They extol it to the clouds, but if the poor man speak, they say, what fellow is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. So that's what happens when you have a mob mentality of degenerates that do not have a compass of righteousness. They don't have a compass of sanity. So they become pawns in the hands of the plantation owner. So that's the reason why a lot of Edomites are getting disillusioned with the so-called elites because they're beginning to catch up, and then they know that the ship has already sailed, man. All they have left is just to scream and yell and hit the streets, and there is no turning back. So, hey, it's the fall of Babylon. You know, they have to use those methods to further their agenda. and have salesmen, the propagandists, the paid influencers to convince the people. That's just what it is. Controlled, like a controlled sales, man. Controlled interviews. Scripted interviews. So the agenda has to be scripted. All right, you're not gonna have these sentient voices interviewing all these salesmen for the elites. All right, so they're gonna have to have a controlled environment. Now, final precept will be from the book of Isaiah, chapter 32, and verse 7. And what does it say? The instruments of the troll are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. So that's just what it is, man. It's a struggle for influence, man. It's a struggle for righteousness. A struggle between light and darkness. Okay, so now you know that the annoying irritant that has all the cards at his beck and call is just running over the people with a steamroller, and there's no one to stop him. That's the whole. That's the way people in society have seen it, man. Like, when is the swamp gonna be drained, man? The swamp is just, engulfing all these people, and the people don't even know what to do. They're just upset, man, with all the empty promises, and now can barely they can barely make ends meet. So what do? They have to continue to ask for handouts. They got them on the breadline. Yeah, so that's what happens, man, when they go along with the program, and very soon it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. So that's the point of this lesson. So I could, for my shortness of breath, but hey, the word got to go out, man. This AI agenda is no joke. It's like they're just putting more fuel for the fire, to push more AI. Now you see your vehicles are more computerized than ever. Your cell phones now. When was the last time you used a landline? That's the question. You know, your computer's the same thing. Your thermostats, your refrigeration units, the new ones, you know, all computerized now. So you want to open your door, you have all these doors now that you don't have to use keys anymore. You just have to tap your fob or your keypad, and then the door opens or closes, and then you can reprogram that door either remotely or be there physically. So it's just how it is, it's just how it is. So just be aware, man, because it doesn't get better. It's just that the problems, man, the problems are just gonna keep on revealing itself over and over and over until the people get overwhelmed. So shalom, 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 Bashim Shai, Bashim Kakadash, and I hope you've been edified.